Hi, I hope you're all having a lovely day today. Welcome to our latest episode of BSP Women in Law series. My name is Margarita Eloeva. I'm an associate in our private equity and corporate practice. Throughout this series, I've been sitting down with male leaders at BSP to chat and to find out about their career paths, as well as any advice which they might have for the new generation of lawyers to succeed in their careers. Today, I'm joined by Nuala Doyle, a partner in our banking and financial services practice. Nuala focuses on bank lending, structured finance, and securitization matters. So, welcome, Nuala.
Thank you, Margarita. Pleasure.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. Excited about the interview.
So, my first questions to you are why law and why Luxembourg? What motivated you to study law and to move to Luxembourg?
Wow. Okay. So why law? Honestly, I wanted to do law for as long as I can remember. I can't honestly say that I, from a 9-year-old Nuala, wanted necessarily to work in banking, finance, capital markets law. I'm quite sure I didn't know what those things meant at that age. But from a very, very young age, I wanted to be a lawyer. Probably based on, I don't know, watching movies based on the John Grisham books or something like that inspired me initially. And then as I continued through my education, through secondary school, and then when I started my law degree, I became more and more sure that it was the career path for me. Why? I don't know. I think law, it's like a puzzle. That you're presented with an issue and you need to find a solution. There might be more than one solution. And, you keep having to figure out more and more as days go by, as weeks go by. It's never ending. You continue to learn. You continue to have new puzzles to solve, and that I love. As to your second part of your question, why Luxembourg? Why not? I guess I moved here. Not long after finishing my studies. I wanted to experience something different to Ireland, to Dublin, and Luxembourg seemed perfect. It's international, but in a small village environment, so I get to work with people from all over the world, but in a small village environment, I guess. And I guess that's not without the hectic side of the big city, but it has lots and lots of advantages like the bigger cities do.
So, what did your first steps in the profession look like?
My first steps in the profession, I think that would have to go back to when I was just finished university, and although I was very sure that this was the career path that I wanted to follow, I wanted to have some on-the-ground experience of what it's like in a regular firm. So I temped as a legal secretary in a few different law firms in Dublin, in very different parts of law than what I work on today. I think at the time I was working in conveyancing, litigation, but it gave me a good insight into how the law firm environment works. Also, I think it's really important, probably in any career, but I can only speak for law. I think it's really important to know how everything works in a law firm. So I was starting with, writing up telephone memorandums and letters based on a dictaphone that given to me by my solicitor, drafting up the documentation, doing the photocopying, doing all of these things, and I think it's a good grounding for your career to really work in the different roles where possible, basically. So for me, as I said, working as a temp, as a legal secretary, then progressed on to being a paralegal before I went back to study for my exams to qualify.
Nuala, what is your favorite part of being a lawyer?
My favorite part of being a lawyer, I think I touched on some of it earlier, where I mentioned that it's like a puzzle, and so you're constantly learning, and in that same vein, I find with law what is interesting is, two lawyers can look at the same provision of the law and may read something different into it and see a different possibility available to it. So I love exchanging ideas, listening to another lawyer's interpretation of something, and it's all the more interesting if it's different than mine. That's a big part of what I really like. And then coupled with that is, working with my team and watching them learn and grow and have them come to me with their different interpretations of the law as well. Because I love to see, people's minds at work, to see how they, how, as I said, we can all look at the same words on the page, but take something different from them.
From your experience, what are the most challenging parts of combining family and career?
So let's see. I mean, when we talk about family, I guess we're mainly thinking of children. I'm relatively new to that game. My only son is just 22 months old, and I found that coming back to work after my maternity leave, and since then, it is just always the challenge is to try and strike the balance, right? And we know it well. It's everyone's trying to strike the balance in every part, with children or not with children. But I think the important thing is, to try your best, to try and strike the balance as best you can, not to beat yourself up too much and be too self-critical if you don't get it always 100% correct. But, I think what is good is to try and see where you will need help, where you need support, and ask for it. In striving to strike this balance, I really see the value of a good team, or how important that is to have a good team around you. In the office, my team, I'm very lucky to have an amazing team around me. And I'm very lucky to have an amazing team around me at home, and the smaller one in the form of my husband. But because I'm, living away from grandparents, you really see where, friends come in as well. You can be a support to each other, so you can rely on each other. And yeah, that's balance. I think we're all lucky. It's an important word. We're all striving for it every day, and it is the hardest thing to achieve, but probably the most important.
Nuala, from your perspective, what can a law firm do to support their female associates, young mothers in particular, to be successful in their careers and to make their life easier?
So I think the easiest and the most obvious thing that we can do is acknowledge that there is this other dimension to a person's life other than work. And that doesn't just come with mothers. It can be fathers, and it can come in other forms as well. People have other commitments outside of the workplace. But you don't try and say that, a person is trying to do their job as in the workplace and do their job as a mother or father at home and pretend in each situation that the other job doesn't exist. Both jobs exist, and we have to find a way for them to complement each other, to work together. But the solution might be different depending on the company, but what is, I think, consistent in every company, in every team, in every department is acknowledging that there is another dimension to someone's life, having an open discussion as to how they can best do the job that they are employed to do within your company while still doing what they need to do outside of it as well. So, just acknowledgement and open discussion, that would be.
So Nuala, thanks a lot for speaking with me today. I enjoyed it a lot of interesting insights, how women can structure their professions and be successful and still have many things beside their job in their lives. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thanks, Martin.
And thanks you for watching, and join us soon for the next episode of Women in Law. Bye.